Alright y'all, we've got a ton of fresh details about the new gameplay in AC Shadows, and let me just say, it's packed with some legit amazing stuff. This video is all about what the game is doing right, the features, the mechanics, all the best parts that'll make you go, okay, I'm so in. Sound good? Cool, let's jump in. First up, let's talk about the two leads, Naue and Yasuke, because their gameplay differences are easily one of the best parts of Assassin's Creed Shadows. These two are quite different in all aspects. They use different weapons, have their own skill trees to progress, and their own gear to upgrade. This means we can specialize them in combat or stealth, or mix and match skills and gear to go for a bit of both. Plus, they've got unique abilities that give them an edge in certain aspects. For example, Naue got the hidden blade and a grappling hook. Add that to her short, athletic build, and she's crazy fast when it comes to moving around and staying out of sight. On the flip side, Yasuke got more HP, so he can take a lot more hits when fighting groups of enemies. Plus, he's got more combat-focused abilities to bounce between them. Both characters also have their own specific activities in the world, but most stuff in Shadows can be done by either of them, just in their own unique way. Now, parkour. According to the devs, they've really focused on making the parkour as smooth as possible, and it's all built around Japan's environment. Since there aren't a lot of tall buildings here other than pagodas or castle tenchus, they focus on smooth parkour with up and down jumps and logical interactions with the world. They've added lots of beams, and the devs made extra sure those feel fluid so now it can run super fast on them. There are some large cities like Kyoto and Osaka where players can parkour on roofs and over streets using some trees and the grappling hook. The classic back eject move is still there, but since Japan doesn't have the massive buildings we've seen in other AC games, the focus is on fast, fluid parkour when climbing roofs and jumping off them. To add more parkour elements, there are underground caves hidden inside kofun, ancient Japanese tombs. And there's this activity called the Hidden Trail set in the mountains made just for Naue. These trails challenge players with parkour and grappling hook sequences and unfold some mysteries. When it comes to parkour though, Naue is definitely the MVP. Her short athletic build makes her faster at moving and hiding. The devs even used mocap to capture flips, acrobatics, and all her moves, so her animations look super smooth and natural. Yasuke's parkour, meanwhile, is a little different. He can still climb and do some parkour, but he's slower and heavier. Makes sense with his build and armor. He can still climb trees or beams if they're set up right, but he doesn't have Naue's speed or agility. Before we move on, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel grow because YouTube loves small actions like this. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. And if you already have, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. With Shadows coming soon, I'll be posting a lot more content, so hit the bell to stay updated. Now on to combat, cause Shadows is doing so many cool things here. Both Naue and Yasuke share the same core fight mechanics, but it's those subtle differences in how they attack and defend that make controlling each character feel unique. What stands out the most in combat is the posture attack. If we hold the light or heavy attack button, we can charge it into a posture attack, which massively increases its damage output. A posture attack can be held indefinitely, so we can adjust our distance or even switch targets while charging. All posture attacks are great at breaking through an enemy's blocking stance. They'll straight up shatter their guard instantly, but enemies aren't dumb. They'll watch out for us charging a posture attack and will try to stop us. By mixing light, heavy, and posture attacks, we can pull off some really cool combos. Yasuke, being a samurai, has a few unique tricks too. One of his coolest moves is the sheathed posture attack. He holds his sword in the sheath, charges it up, and then delivers this super stylish deadly strike. It just looks plain badass. Yasuke is also the only protagonist who can switch weapons mid-combo thanks to his link attack ability. This lets him rapidly string together attacks and weapon abilities in a smooth, non-stop flow. Now let's talk weapons, cause wow, there's so much variety here. Both protagonists have their own unique selection of weapons, and each one comes with its own abilities. Yasuke's got the massive kanabo, which is like this heavy club that smashes through armor like it's nothing. Then there's the long katana, the iconic samurai weapon, and the naginata, which is Yasuke's go-to for crowd control. He's also got the Yumi bow for long-range takedowns on unsuspecting enemies, and the teppo, a flint rifle that takes time to reload but can snipe enemies or blow up explosive barrels from a distance. Naue's weapons are just as awesome. She carries a katana but also uses the kusarigama, a scythe and chain combo that's excellent for crowd control. The chain gives her crazy reach to hit enemies from far away or push back multiple foes, while the scythe is great for close-up attacks. And yes, Hidden Blade combat is back. Naue can pair her Hidden Blade with the Tanto Dagger, and the combo lets her pull off these whirlwind slashes and lightning fast stabs. It's perfect for a hit and run, death by 1,000 cuts playstyle. Enemies are smarter this time. Samurai, for example, won't just stand there if they get caught in smoke bombs, they'll leave the area. They'll even slash through bushes while searching for us, so hiding in bushes, not always a safe option anymore. Speaking of stealth, it's been upgraded so much. Stealth gameplay in Assassin's Creed Shadows looks absolutely insane. Shadows isn't just part of the title, Shadows is an actual gameplay mechanic. If we're crouched in the shadows, we're practically invisible. Enemies won't see us unless they're super close. We can even create shadows by turning off lights, which is so cool. Then there are the Nightingale floors, special floors that creak when we walk on them. How cool is that? We've got to crouch to avoid making noise on these floors, or we'll risk alerting enemies nearby. We can even see the ripple effect around Naue's footsteps, showing how much noise we're making. Oh, and I love how insanely dark the game gets in some areas. Like here, Naue is walking through this pitch black hallway, and all we can see are faint patches of light shining here and there. It looks so good. Both Naue and Yasuke can go prone, which is huge. Naue can even perform assassinations from a prone position, which looks so clean, like we're lying there completely hidden and then bam, enemy down. We can crawl under buildings, squeeze through tight spaces, hide in thick snow, and then pop out to take enemies down. Naue's grappling hook isn't just for traversal. We can use it to grab enemies and silently move them out of sight, perform aerial assassinations while swinging, or even pull off ceiling assassinations. There's this new grab mechanic too. Instead of automatically pulling enemies into hiding spots, now we've got to manually grab them, which gives us more control. Naue can execute one-shot hidden blade kills, even against armored enemies, but some enemies can block assassinations now. If we don't want that, we can turn it off in the settings to guarantee a successful assassination every time. And if you love double assassinations, you'll be happy to know they're back. Yasuke doesn't use a hidden blade, he assassinates with his weapons, which isn't quiet at all. But we can still do quite a lot of stealth by mixing it with silent arrows. They're super deadly, but they're limited. There are also special celebrations for unique targets. Sometimes even a regular assassination triggers a cinematic moment, which looks cool. Plus, we've got both classic and new hiding spots. Haystacks are back, but there are ones more unique to Japan, like giant wheels or big chests we can hide inside. The recruitment system is back, but it's not like before. This time, we can recruit a few specific characters who become our allies. These characters each have their own story, quest, and unique abilities. We can pick one or two to help us in combat or stealth, depending on what they're good at. Some are fighters, and others are more shinobi-type characters, so we can decide whether to balance our character or double down on their strengths. For example, using a stealth ally with Yasuke gives us more stealth options. The hideout is our base, and compared to Valhalla's settlement, it's much more customizable. We can decorate it however we like, adding fences, trees, pets collected during our travels, ponds, and even connecting buildings. We can also construct new rooms, upgrade them, and place them almost anywhere, including attaching them to existing rooms. Everything we build impacts gameplay. For example, the dojo upgrades allies, the forge unlocks new engravings, and the tea room boosts ration efficiency. As we build more, our hideout levels up, unlocking additional rewards. Plus, characters who became our allies will gather at the hideout, interact with each other, and have conversations with Naue or Yasuke. As we progress, the whole place becomes more and more alive. The wanted system is back too, but this time it's much more intense. If we're caught in a castle, enemies can ring a bell to alert the entire castle, quickly escalating the situation across the whole province. When that happens, guardians, the hardest enemies in the game, spawn on roads and in castles, ready to attack us. The wanted system will be active for the entire season, and every military unit, plus the guardians, will hunt the protagonist who triggered the alarm. But we've got options. We can wait for the season to end and play with the extra heat, explore other regions, switch to the other protagonist, or use scouts to clear the alert. One of the coolest things about Shadows is how it tells the story. It doesn't follow a straightforward chronological narrative. Instead, the game has a non-linear main quest structure with flashbacks and memories that let us experience the story from two perspectives. Most main quests can be played as either Naue or Yasuke, giving us the freedom to choose how to approach them. Both Naue and Yasuke also have their own specific intro missions and personal quests. Most of the main target quest lines can be tackled through exploration, and they're not in a predetermined order, though the game flow does suggest an optimal path as we explore and progress. The story leads to one single canon ending, but the path we take to get there and who's by our side depends on our decisions. Choices are in the game, but they're not as branching as they were in Odyssey. Instead, they mainly influence aspects like recruiting allies, romancing specific characters, and small details such as dialogue in certain scenes. There's even an option called Canon Mode, which lets us play with all the choices already made for us, so we get a choice-free experience. Even in canon mode, we can still switch between characters in the open world. It's a really cool addition for fans who just want to follow the official story and aren't into dialogue options, something fans have been asking for since Odyssey. It's great to see it added here. Shadows Japan looks beautiful. The map is massive and super diverse. In terms of land to explore, it's comparable to the scale of Origins. There are mountains, farmlands, forests, shrines, temples, castle towns, and villages spread across 9 vast provinces. We'll get to visit iconic places like Lake Biwa, Azuchi Castle, and Kyoto, just to name a few. What really makes the world cool, though, is just how dynamic it is. Seasons change as we play, and they don't just look different, seasons actually impact gameplay. In summer, guards can get sleepy standing in the sun all day, making sneaking a little easier. In winter, guards stick close to fires, giving us chances to sneak past them. Even the weather impacts gameplay. Heavy rain makes our footsteps quieter, and fog reduces visibility for everyone. There's so much attention to detail, like water dripping off rooftops during storms, or icicles falling in winter. Even Naue can slip on icy surfaces. How cool is that? The forests are incredibly dense. Like actual forests, with vegetation we can cut through. The world is also highly destructible. We can chop down bamboo, slash through bushes, and even destroy certain props with our weapons. Exploration is less guided too. Instead of map markers everywhere, the game uses animals like monkeys to lead us to loot or points of interest. Speaking of animals, we can pet Shiba Inus. Plus, different dogs, flowers, and wildlife appear depending on the season. Shadows looks packed with these little details. They might seem small, but they make the gameplay so much better. I absolutely love Yasuke's leap of faith. It's both funny and amazing. He flails and crashes into the hay, and it's so much fun to watch. Synchronization points in Shadows now act as simple vantage points we climb to spot important locations around us. There's no spinning drone-like shot of the area anymore. It's more immersive and way less overwhelming. And yes, these sync points still serve as fast travel locations. For the modern day fans out there, yeah, it's in the game, but limited this time. It's setting up something much bigger though, a new modern day narrative that's gonna unfold over time through the Animus Hub in future games. Shadows also includes extensive codex entries that Naue and Yasuke can discover while exploring, giving us all sorts of cool info and facts about the world. And for all you photo mode lovers, it's been rebuilt with a brand new interface. So yeah, those are the best parts of Assassin's Creed Shadows' new gameplay. The things that make me go, okay, this is gonna be good. What's your favorite feature so far? Drop it in the comments, cause I'd love to know what's got you most hyped.